Hi guys, my name is Lydia. I'm from Brazil. I'm still learning English and I could certainly speak much better about today's topic in my mother tongue. But this is a challenge for me and I would like to try to do this. And today I would like to talk to you about the power of worship. And I love this theme, and we all know the effect that music can have on people, how it can affect an environment, it can affect our bodies, spirit, and soul. And when we talking about songs directed to God, exalting His quality, His name, expressing our gratitude and our love for God, they have an even more power effect. Even more when we take the attitude of worship God in the midst of difficult circumstances. God can release His power over us, over the earth, and work incredible things. And we can see an example of this in the history of Paul and Silas in prison in Acts chapter 16, verse 25. They were flogged and were chained because they were talking about Jesus. They had every reason to be discouraged, frustrated, but they decided to raise a song of worship to God. And the Bible says that all the prisons heard it. So they probably weren't singing softly, and God shook the cell doors and they all opened it, and the chains fell. There is no record to earthquakers at that time, just in that prison. And through this event, the jailer and everyone in his household surrendered to Jesus. And the next morning, Paul and Silas were released. This is an incredible story, isn't it? I love this story. I love in many situations it encouraged me to worship God even in the midst of difficulties. And now I want to share a personal experience. I've been in Dallas, Texas for 4 months, but I was living in Amazonas, Brazil, and at the beginning of 2019, God gave us a word to come to USA, and we didn't think about doing that at the time, but God was giving us that direction, and in the midst of that, we need to sell our house. So after praying and asking God to send a buyer, I started to thank God for the sale of the house that would happen, for the people who were going to buy it, because God already knew who they were, and I started to worship Him. And 15 days later, God brought a family to see our home, and they bought it. It was quickest sale we've ever made in our lives, and it brought us more certainly that it was time to raise our tents again. And prayers repeated for a long time, and without an apparent answer from God, are quickly answered when we come to praise instead of supplication. So I have learned three things about the power of worship. First, worship has the power to promote deliverance, just as it did with Paul and Silas, but also deliverance from sin, from the strongholds that imprison our minds, and receive God's forgiveness. Second thing, worship has the power to align our hearts with that of God. We become close to Him and more like Him. As He is the light, we see our failures and recognize that we need Him. We become like what we worship. Psalms 123, 30 think worship attracts us to presence of God and releases the supernatural power of God over us and of the earth. But we must remember that we must worship God simply because we love Him, because we want His company and not for what He can give us. We love the heart of God more than your hands. We love the heart of God more than your hands. So I end this video with this sentence. Praising makes us look away from the battle to victory because Jesus has already won for us. Thank you. Bye.